Hello and welcome to the 8th edition of Power Dynamics for Life. I'm Dr. Aisha Haynes-Belizaire and this video is for educational purposes. Today's topic is the Master Manipulator of January 6th. And I want to talk to you today as a political scientist about the threat to our democracy. Democracy can be explained the best way is that it is government for and by the people. And, we must educate ourselves and inform ourselves to guard against people who want to get into power and want to cling to power and not give it up, because that's not how democracies work. So we want to talk about today the master manipulator of January 6th, who was the former president, Donald Trump. And some of the characteristics of a master manipulator is someone who is deceptive, someone who creates chaos, confusion, lies, steals, cheats, and are very good at finding people to exploit. A lot of times, people will say that, the former president wasn't smart, that, pretty much he doesn't really know what's, going on, and, he doesn't, can't be blamed for a lot of things. And you know what? I'm not going to get on that bandwagon that he's not smart. Maybe when it comes to things like history, dates, laws, knowing things like that, what the job of a president is. No, he doesn't really care to really know those things, but he is very smart. Let me tell you, he is a master manipulator when it comes to finding people to exploit and finding out people's vulnerabilities and finding out how to corrupt people. If you look at his administration, anybody that didn't want to be, because you saw the turnarounds, the turnovers, the way they were, that were not the corruptible people, a lot of them stayed, and the ones who didn't want to be corrupted left, or he corrupted people. And you can just look throughout. But anyway, I want to talk about the December 18th meeting. And this is we're now at about the 7th hearing. I believe it was a January 6th. And so I kind of want to pick up and just give you all the update of what happened and how Donald Trump was at the center of the attempted coup on our country, the attempted overthrow of our democracy. And so the December 18th meeting, this happened in the White House, and this is after, he wasn't able to win any of the court cases. They lost all of them about the election being stolen, so he wasn't able to get the election overturned there. He wasn't able to get the Department of Justice to go along with him to say that the election was corrupt. And so now he's running out of options. And the White House aides who testified, they said that they had broken down all the people who were around Trump and advising him by two teams, Team Crazy and Team Normal. Those are their words. That's what they said, Team Crazy and Team Normal. So the White House counsel, and let me let you know what the job of the White House counsel is the White House counsel is not the president's lawyers, but they are in the White House as the lawyers for the presidency. So whoever is in that position, that's who White House counsel. They serve the country to make sure that they serve the office of the president to make sure the president doesn't break the law. So two of the White House counsel, Eric Hirschman and Pat Cipollone, found out about this meeting that Trump has set up with some people to advise him that we're not the regular people that should be getting into the White House and have an audience with the president. This is on December 18th. So they end up going into this, finding out about this meeting and going in there, and they see in there General Michael Flynn, who was Trump's first national security advisor, who had to resign because he was trying to have a back channel with Russia and he lied to the FBI about it. They had in there Rudy Giuliani, who and Sidney Powell, who were the two lawyers who were trying to fight all of those cases that they knew were not true, that they lost 60 out of 61 about trying to overturn the election and saying that it was fake and fraudulent. And then they had the Overstock.com guy in there, and I believe they said the MyPillow guy. Now, these people aren't even supposed to be sitting there. I mean, it is very difficult to get in to see the president. So however they got past security, nobody really knows. But the White House counsel, they're in there, and they come in there and they hear them talking about confiscating the voting machines and getting the military to do it. And Pat Cipollone had to tell them that, look, we don't do that in America. That is something that is done in dictatorships and autocrat governments. We don't do that here. And Trump wasn't trying to hear it. And they said there was a shouting match and cussing and going back and forth for about a good 6 hours, even to the point White House counsel Eric Hirschman said that Flynn kept getting up and down and hurling insults at him. And at one point he said, well, either you're going to get up and come over here, or you're going to sit your MF ass down and shut up. And I was like, whoa. I mean, and so this is the kind of meeting that this was. And this went all the way on until about 12 o'clock at night, somewhere around there. And finally, they, Trump was to understand that, yes, that would be illegal, and you can't call martial law. You can't get the military to confiscate the voting machines. And you can't do any of those things. And so after everybody left, he decided in the wee hours, now we're on December 19th, that he was going to send out a tweet. And he knew that his people, his followers, the ones that love him, they were sitting back waiting on him to decide what he was going to do. Because remember when he had the debate with Biden, and when they asked him about the Proud Boys, and he told the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by? Well, he sent out the tweet sent out the tweet December 19th that said to come to Washington for January 6th, it will be wild. Okay. And when he said it will be wild, he knew what folks were going to bring. And so it went like wildfire across social media, all different types of platforms. It spread like wildfire across all of these different platforms, and the Department of Homeland Security said for the first time they saw a blended ideology. Now, what is a blended ideology? Now, a lot of times the ideology basically is a type of way of thinking and your beliefs and all that, but they said for the first time they saw a blended one, and this is when different types of organizations and people come together that usually would not come together, but they came together. And all because Trump called them, and they saw a convergence for one purpose, to come to Washington, D.C. for January 6th for the certification of this election. And it brought together conspiracy theorists, the QAnon people, white supremacists, paramilitary groups, and militia groups, the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%ers. All of these people were brought together and had been planning and were ready for this. And so, like I said, it spread it through a lot of back channels. It spread throughout this entire community. So on December 21st, there was a meeting in the White House where Trump had around a dozen Republican congressmen there to plan what they were going to do to once the votes got to the Congress to certify, that they were planning to challenge them. And they were trying to, and at this point, Trump is still trying to put pressure on Mike Pence not to certify the election. And so they had come together to plan this, and they knew better. They take an oath to the Constitution. People, this is a planned coup on every level, okay? And so one of the things that another congressman, and I'm not sure if he was in there at the time, Congressman Barry Loudermilk, and I am actually going to get the names of everybody who was involved in this, and it'll probably be near the end of the hearing so that you all can know if you got somebody in your state that was part of this coup. But I am very disturbed that I am in Georgia, and now I have found out there have been 3 people named as part of this. One of them, Barry Loudermilk in Georgia, he actually gave tours of the Capitol prior to the day before January 6th, and he had people in there taking pictures of stairways, security checkpoints, tunnels, hallways. Okay, when you go to Capitol, you don't take pictures of that stuff. I've taken students to the Capitol. You take pictures in Statuary Hall. You go see your representatives. You go to see your senator. You know, those are the kind of things that you do when you go to the Capitol. You don't take pictures of places that it looks like you're gonna come in there like for a security purpose reason. And so he's actually now being accused of treason, and they're looking at him, the January 6th committee. But anyway, this happens on January 5th, the day before. So the day of the actual rally, there are, on January 6th, the Secret Service is reporting, and they played the tapes of the radio back and forth between the Secret Service and also some of the DC police, that they got tens of thousands of people here that have weapons, okay? And not just like the things we know they took to the Capitol, like pipes and bottles and bats and, you know, bear spray and all that stuff. No, beyond that, they had AR-15s, they had Glocks. Now, this is what came out in the hearing. And so there were magnetometers up, and they were confiscating all kinds of stuff for people. And so the people that knew that they didn't want to go through the magnetometers because they didn't want to be stopped with their weapons, they kind of fell back a little bit. And Trump was upset because, you know, he likes big crowd sizes. And so there was a group of people that had gone through the magnetometers, and they were up in the front. And then you had the other folks that they weren't giving up their weapons. They were in the back. And Trump says that he's being told, no, they got weapons. They can't come through. He's like, let my people through. They're not here to hurt me. Okay, now think about that for a minute. They're not there to hurt him. Okay, but who are they there to hurt? Think about that. Okay, but he was okay with it. And so then the rally starts, and then you hear you know, people coming out on stage, Rudy Giuliani, talking about now it's time for trial by combat. Then you have Congressman Mo Brooks, I believe from Alabama, saying today is the day to start taking down names and kicking ass. Yeah, that's what he said. And then you had Trump saying that, you know, you'll never take back your country with weakness. And actually, those things were put into the speech after the speechwriters took out the stuff that Trump said about, you know, going to encourage Pence and, you know, we're going to go to the Capitol and you can't take back your country with weakness. They were the ones that wanted that out of the speech, but he put it back in, okay? And so he knew exactly what he was doing. And so when he got everybody riled up and he said, now we're going to march down to the Capitol. Now, originally, people just thought that was something that he said, but no, he really was going to go down to the Capitol. And it was the Secret Service that put him in the SUV to take him back to the White House. And there are reports that there was a tussle inside of that to try to control him, to keep him from turning the car around so he could go march with the people on the Capitol. Please, Americans, understand. We have never had a president do anything like this. This has nothing to do with political parties. This is what dictators do. This is what tyrants do. This is what autocrats do. We don't do this in the United States of America, okay? And so, you know, I want you all to really be paying attention, and I'm going to be reporting back on these hearings. There's another one next Thursday. You know, my intent was to try to get this to get a video out to you all weekly, and it hasn't quite worked out that way, but I'm, you know, working on it. I'm getting there. This is still really a new channel. This is still new for me. I'm working on getting some more equipment and some more stuff, and so I can make the videos more exciting, but I want to make sure that I bring you complete and accurate content. And so, you know, democracy is so important, people. Once you lose it, it's not like you get it back in the next election cycle. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. We need to save democracy. This is so important. No amount of judges or economy or tax cut is worth losing a democracy in favor of autocracy. The thing about the autocratic leader is that, you know what? You may say, oh, I agree with everything and they're for me and what I want until you do something they don't like, okay? Ask Mike Pence, okay? They were ready to hang Mike Pence. He did everything Donald Trump wanted for 4 years, everything. And at the end of the day, because he wouldn't do that one thing, because he wouldn't overturn the election, then he didn't want him anymore. So I'm Dr. Aisha Haynes-Belizaire. Thank you so much for watching Power Dynamics for Life. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.